Welcome back to another Cal's Clips episode. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are aiming for 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Now, today, I wanted to just talk about and kind of give my predictions for the upcoming fight that JJ has going on. Lord knows, first of all, how the hell this man is actually put together a card. It seemed like everything he did, nothing worked in his favor. First of all, we had Wasabi pull out. Then he ended up bringing in Swarms to everyone just being annoyed at him for that. Then he's like, all right, well, to make it up, I'll fight 2 fighters. So he does that. Turns out the first guy that he offered ended up being like a white supremacist. He was just a bad person, okay? And then finally, touch wood that this is all okay. Yeah, it looks like we've got this fella here named Pineda, and I'm actually excited for this. I mean, the fact that he's fighting 2 people in one night, first of all, is pretty insane. I don't think it's ever really been done before. Jake Paul did tweet out saying George Foreman fought 5 people in one night, and he was obviously complaining about it, saying that it wasn't good to watch and blah, blah, blah. First of all, this is not common, and I don't think this will probably ever happen again. I mean, it's just insane to me that JJ always finds a way to turn something that might not be very entertaining, like, for example, him simply just fighting Swarms. Now, to me, this is more exciting than him fighting Wasabi, because I didn't really care too much about Wasabi in the first place. It was just more of like the storyline was he was getting revenge for his brother, or avenging your brother. Is that what it's called? I'm not sure. So then when he said he was fighting Swarms, it honestly didn't really make too much of a difference to me. I felt like if you didn't know who Swarms is, it could have maybe been a bit disappointing, but for the most part, people in the UK kind of know who Swarms is. So I thought it was a lot of people that weren't from the UK were the ones really disappointed with the Swarms announcement. In true JJ fashion, he ends up somehow getting this sanctioned as well. I mean, this is like above board. This is like legal. This isn't being done on the sly, and you can imagine DAZN as well wouldn't allow something like that to happen. And now they've got this Pineda guy. I mean, the first guy they had, I don't even want to say his name, honestly. His record was pretty bad. I mean, you know, it's safe to say he was old. He was clearly a journeyman. To be fair though, experience is a massive thing. He would have been a difficult-ish fight. So then for him to replace that guy with this fella here, Pineda, let me get up his record. Pineda fella, he's literally 23 years old. He's 5'8" and he weighs 66 kilos. So he is definitely lighter than JJ. Although I imagine he's probably gonna go up a little bit in weight. He'd probably come in like the low 70s, maybe around 70. But his record is actually 2-5. Now that isn't terrible, right? That is not bad at all. He's won 2 of them, and they were both by unanimous decision. And then he has lost 5 of them. Now I can see why JJ's picked this opponent. First of all, he is professional. He's obviously doing that to get a 1-up on Jake. But at the same time, he's not terrible where people are there like, okay, this is a pointless fight. Like, this will be a pretty interesting fight. I don't think it's gonna be like a 1 punch or a jab and a punch and the guy's out of there. I am really excited just to see. Entertainment wise, he's gonna fight the guy at the beginning. I would imagine he would go Swarms first and then Pineda at the end of the card. So I imagine if you're going to this fight, or even if you're buying pay-per-view, you probably want to watch right at the beginning. I imagine JJ will remind people to do that, but a lot of people will just tune in sort of halfway through the card. But JJ, I can imagine he's gonna fight the first one, then the rest of the card, and then he fights this Pineda guy at the end. I mean, first of all, this is gonna be so bad if JJ loses that first fight. I would not want to go anywhere near his subreddit if he loses that first fight. He's gonna seriously have to get rid of Swarms in good fashion. I think he's got good cardio, so I'm not too worried about that. It's more so just like he can't really afford to take like damage. I don't know whether Swarms is gonna be that guy to give him any damage, but it will be interesting to see. Bro, I just think it's so cool that we're gonna see this. I'm a little bit nervous. JJ seems to have supreme confidence, but he would, because he is the one doing the sparring. He is the one doing the training. He knows what he's capable of. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see how far he's come. He says he is a way better boxer than he was in the previous ones, despite the fact that he has almost 3 years out. Ring rust is a real thing. It's not just like an excuse. It kind of is an excuse, but it is a genuine, real thing that fighters experience. I think if JJ does this, like, you have to put respect on his name. Like, seriously, I know that, okay, look, we're not looking at the highest caliber of opponent, but I think if he manages to pull off this feat, 1, it's super entertaining for us. It's a win-win situation for the viewers. And then next up, that allows JJ to really have a lot of confidence in himself and then go and pick out someone else. I mean, personally, I'd like to see JJ fight Tommy Fury. we know the Jake and Tommy Fury one just isn't going to happen as much as Tommy Fury wants it to happen. I just don't think that's going to happen purely because I think Jake's just fed up, and you can't really blame him. They've tried it twice and now he just can't get into the US, so the only way that fight works is if Tommy fights in the UK, which JJ can do. I'd love to see that fight happen, and then after the Tommy Fury one, you get the Jake Paul one. That's what I'd like to see. So let's talk about a few of the other fights. The first one, there's a few in here that I'm not too aware of, so I'm just gonna kind of go past it. Sam Hyde versus I Am Thompson. I'll be honest, I'm not too aware of those guys. Salt Puppy and versus Andy Worski. I want to give a massive shout to Salt Puppy, by the way. This guy I saw on TikTok, his weight loss has been immense. He's also just a really good boxer as well. I don't know if you guys have seen his previous stuff. I'm not too sure who that Andy Worski guy is, so I can't really give too much of a comment on him. After that, we've got Dean the Great versus Evil Hero. Again, two people I just don't really know. Right, so here's one I am so excited for. This is the King Kenny versus FaZe Sensei. Now, Kenny was actually really impressed me. Like, he came out, he looked good. It was a good boxing match against FaZe Temper was the last one he had. Honestly, massive fan of that fight, and I actually thought Kenny did well. Okay, he didn't win, fair enough. And so I think this fight might be maybe the best one on the card. And the reason why I say that is I just think skill-wise, it's going to be really interesting to see. Look, obviously Sensei has the experience on Kenny. Sensei's been a fighter for a while. He needs to beat King Kenny, and this will only be Kenny's second fight. If I were to pick a winner, I'm going to say Kenny's just going to be a bit more up for this. That could be a really bad shot in the end. Hey, fuck it. We got to make these predictions. Deji versus Fuzi. Wow, I am so excited for this fight. I'm hearing on the grapevine that Deji is coming in way better. I really don't believe that Deji has ever been in a spot where he has had that prime fitness. You know what I mean? Like, you can think you're fit, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? And I think now Deji will be in that spot. But you look over the other side, FuziTube has had an incredible body transformation. And I know, just because someone has a six-pack and, you know, looks great doesn't mean they're necessarily going to box great. And that's why I think this fight will be really good. Will Deji be able to turn things around? I'll be honest, I am rooting for Deji in this because I just love an underdog story, and I'd love to see Deji. He deserves a dub. Do you know what I mean? So I would like to see Deji win this one, and that is, you know, I'll admit I'm biased there. Next up, we got FaZe Temper versus Slim. Wow, FaZe Temper was no joke in that fight against Kenny. He obviously won that one. This is such a sick fight. I'm excited to see Slim as well. I think Slim, or he was supposed to fight on another card, and then I don't think it happened. I think this will be, honestly, Slim's first, like, actual test of coming up against someone good. And who do I think wins that? I'm gonna say Temper wins it. But I really think it's close. I mean, that's why I think this card, first of all, is fucking sick, because one, it's finally a card with YouTubers and influencers on it, not a YouTuber and then a bunch of pro fights that, no offense, but we don't really care too much about because we're not emotionally invested in them. Yeah, that's why all these top four here, I genuinely, there's not one where I go, okay, this is an easy win. And that's why I think this card is fucking awesome, and they've done a great job of pairing these up and also just making them interesting. Like, these are four fights I want to watch, and I'm gonna be lucky enough to be there to watch them. Anyways, guys, look, if you have enjoyed this video, it's more of just, I just wanted to sit down and chat about this card because I'm, one, really excited for it, and I think you guys should be too, because what I will say is I really hope, and I do have confidence that it is going to be a good production. It's going to be put together well. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to listen to. Anyways, guys, I'll see you all in a little bit later.